Today was supposed to be different. For Milo, this wasn't just another morning. It was his morning. The one day in the entire year that belonged completely to him. And as the first rays of sunlight slipped quietly through the curtains, Milo's eyes opened with excitement. He didn't jump out of bed. He didn't stretch lazily. No, he sat up slowly, dramatically, like a hero waking up before a grand celebration. On the wall, right above his desk, a calendar hung proudly. Every date was marked in simple black ink, except one. Today's date, circled in thick red marker. Underneath it were 3 bold words. My big day. Milo smiled. He walked toward the mirror and studied his reflection carefully. "Oh ho, Milo," he said proudly, adjusting his fur and smoothing his collar. 1 year older, 1 year wiser, and definitely more handsome. He leaned closer. "Prepare yourself. Today, the wishes will rain. I am guide." And in Milo's mind, the day had already begun. Balloons, cake, laughter, group photos, maybe even a surprise. He imagined kittens rushing toward him with confetti, Luna smiling mysteriously, office colleagues pretending not to know, but clearly knowing. Today was going to be legendary. So Milo prepared accordingly. Not just normal preparation, extra preparation. He chose his best shirt, his sharpest tie, even applied a little too much perfume. He practiced walking down the corridor in slow motion, just in case someone shouted, "Birthday boy." He even pinned a small badge under his jacket. It said, "Official Birthday King," but he kept it slightly hidden. Because, of course, he wanted someone to notice first. Confident, excited, ready, Milo stepped out of his room and headed toward the kitchen. Surely, this was where the day would begin. Inside the kitchen, the kittens were busy, very busy, laughing, running, playing with laundry baskets. Milo cleared his throat dramatically. Ahem. No reaction. He checked his watch loudly. Tick, tick. Still nothing. He coughed again, this time louder. Ahem. One kitten glanced up. "Yes, Milo?" Milo smiled. This was it. He leaned casually against the counter. "So, today's date. Rings any bells?" The kittens looked at each other. One snapped her fingers. "Oh yes, today is National Laundry Day." They pointed to piles of clothes. "We're washing everything." Milo blinked. "Laundry Day?" "Yes, so exciting." They went back to playing. One accidentally bumped into him. "Careful, Milo bro, you're blocking the detergent." Blocking the detergent. Not blocking the cake table. Not blocking the balloons. Blocking the detergent. Milo's smile faded slightly. Maybe they were pretending. Yes, that had to be it. They were good actors. Very committed. Impressive, honestly. He nodded slowly. "Very funny. I see what you're doing." But inside, a tiny crack formed. Still hopeful, Milo left for work. Now surely, the office wouldn't forget. As he walked into the building, he imagined the lights turning on suddenly. Surprise! Instead, the lights were already on, and no one looked up. He walked toward his desk. No balloons, no cake, just files. A mountain of files. His boss appeared almost immediately. "Milo, you're late." Late? It was 3 minutes past 9. "Finish this report. We have deadlines." Deadlines. On his birthday. Milo nodded slowly. Maybe they were all committed to the act. Yes, this had to be a coordinated performance. Then she walked in. Luna, calm, composed, carrying her tablet. She approached his desk. Milo straightened his posture. This was it. She would smile. she would say it. "Milo, do you have a stapler? Mine ran out." He blinked. "A stapler?" "Yes, quickly please." He handed it over. She turned to leave. "Luna." She stopped. "Yes?" He waited. The silence stretched. "Are you forgetting something?" She tilted her head. "Oh, yes." His heart lifted. "Your file is missing page 4. And she walked away. Just like that. Page 4. Not happy birthday. Page 4. Milo sat down slowly. Maybe they really forgot. But no. Impossible. He organized everyone's birthdays. He planned Luna's surprise party last year. He even bought her that expensive gift she loved. Surely someone would remember. As lunch passed, Milo checked his phone. Nothing. He refreshed social media. A news story from Luna. He opened it quickly. His heart raced. Maybe she posted something special. The story read, "Boring Tuesday. Nothing special happening today." Nothing special. Milo stared at the screen. Nothing special. He swallowed hard. Was he? Nothing special? Later that afternoon, the boss called him into the conference room. "Milo, we need to talk." His heart dropped. Was this part of it? Or was this worse? He entered the room. It was empty. On the table sat an old file with a sticky note. "Go back to work." Milo stood there in silence. The room felt colder than usual. The act was becoming convincing. Too convincing. After work, on his way home, Rabbit appeared. "Milo, perfect timing. I'm starving. Buy me a burger." Milo forced a small smile. You know what today is, right?" Rabbit grinned. "Yes." "Your turn to pay." And he dragged him inside the restaurant. Milo paid. Quietly. Still no wish. Still no acknowledgement. As the evening sky darkened, Milo walked home slowly. The excitement of the morning, gone. The confidence, gone. The badge under his jacket felt heavy. He sat on a bench outside his house. The wind was colder now, and for the first time that day, he spoke honestly. "I remember everyone's birthdays." His voice softer. "I plan their surprises. I buy their gifts." He looked down at his paws. And today, no one even remembered mine. Maybe he wasn't important. Maybe he cared more than anyone else did. He stood up slowly, walked to his door, paused, looked at the nameplate. "Chalo Milo," he whispered. "It's fine. Tomorrow is another day." He unlocked the door. The house was completely dark. No lights, no sounds. He sighed. Of course. He stepped inside, reached for the switch. Nothing happened. A power cut? Perfect. He closed the door gently behind him. And for a moment, the silence felt heavier than the darkness. The house was silent. Not the peaceful kind of silent. The heavy kind. The kind that makes your own breathing sound too loud. Milo stood still in the darkness. For a moment, he didn't move. He didn't call out. He didn't try again to flip the switch. Because at this point, he wasn't expecting anything anymore. He exhaled slowly. "Of course," he whispered. He stepped forward carefully, placing his bag down near the door. The room felt colder than usual. The excitement of the morning replayed in his mind. The mirror, the confidence, the red circle on the calendar. "Wishes will rain," he had said. Instead, it had been a drought. He walked further inside, each step softer than the last. Maybe this was just how birthdays felt when you grew up. Less noise, less attention, less importance. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. The screen lit up his face faintly. Still no notifications. No missed calls. No happy birthday. He forced a small smile. "It's okay," he murmured to himself. "I'll just make some tea, sleep early. Tomorrow will be normal again." Normal? He moved toward the kitchen drawer to find a candle. If the power was really out, at least he could have some light. He struck a match. The small flame flickered alive, its glow reflected in his eyes. For a second, it looked like the light was fighting the darkness, just like he had fought hope all day. He lit the candle slowly, and as he lifted it, the flame illuminated something strange. Tiny reflections in the room, like metallic pieces, on the floor, on the ceiling. He squinted. Was that? Before he could finish the thought, boom! Confetti exploded from behind the couch. Lights flashed on. Music burst through the speakers, and the entire room shouted. Surprise! Milo froze. Completely. His brain didn't process it immediately. Standing in front of him, Luna, the kittens, Rabbit, his boss, office colleagues, even neighbors, all wearing party hats, all smiling, all holding balloons. For a full 3 seconds, Milo did not move. He blinked. Once, twice. The candle in his paw trembled. Then, the kittens rushed toward him first. "Happy birthday, Milo, bro." Rabbit laughed loudly. "You should have seen your face." The boss stepped forward, no longer strict, no longer serious. "You really thought we forgot?" Milo looked around slowly. His eyes landed on Luna. She stepped closer. Soft smile. "We had to make it believable," she said. "You're very observant." Milo finally spoke. You all knew?" Luna raised an eyebrow playfully. "Of course we knew." She pointed toward the wall. Milo turned, and there it was. The calendar from his room. The red circle, now surrounded by fairy lights. Below it hung a giant banner. "Our Panda King." The kittens giggled. "We saw you circling that date 3 times. Rabbit added, "You even practiced your slow-motion walk in the hallway. Very dramatic." The room burst into laughter. Milo covered his face in embarrassment. "You saw that?" "Oh, we saw everything," Luna replied. Then she snapped her fingers. The television turned on, and suddenly, footage started playing. It was Milo, from earlier that morning, talking to himself in the mirror. "Oh ho, Milo. 1 year more handsome." Everyone laughed. The entire room roared with laughter again. Milo stared at the screen in shock. "You recorded me?" Rabbit grinned. "Hidden camera project." Luna crossed her arms proudly. "We've been planning this for weeks." The cake sitting proudly on the table. 3 layers. Blue frosting. A tiny panda figurine on top, wearing a crown. For the first time that day, Milo laughed. Not a forced smile. Not a polite grin. A real laugh. And something inside him softened. Luna stepped closer again, her voice quieter now. "You really thought we forgot?" Milo hesitated. He looked down briefly. "I remember everyone's birthdays. I thought maybe mine didn't matter." The room became quieter. Luna shook her head slowly. "Milo, you matter more than you know." She handed him a small wrapped box. "And we didn't forget." He stared at the gift, carefully wrapped, with his favorite color ribbon. He opened it slowly. Inside, a custom-made Super Panda costume, exactly like the one he had once joked about months ago. The one he said he'd wear when he finally ruled the world. The stitching was detailed. The cape embroidered with a golden M. Milo looked up, speechless. "You remembered that?" Luna smiled softly. "You talk a lot. We listen." The kittens chimed in. "You said you wanted to feel like a hero." Rabbit added, "So tonight, you are..." The boss clapped once. "Cake time." Everyone gathered around. The candles were lit. They began to sing, and for Milo, the sound felt warmer than any surprise. As he closed his eyes to make a wish, he didn't wish for attention. He didn't wish for gifts. He didn't even wish for another surprise. He wished for this. For people who cared. For friends who acted cold, only to protect something warm. He blew out the candles. Cheers erupted. Music played louder. Photos were taken. Confetti continued to fall. And for the first time that day, Milo felt exactly what he had expected that morning. Not because of attention, but because of love. Later that night, after the cake, after the laughter, after the music slowed, Milo stood again in front of the mirror. This time, wearing the Super Panda cape, he looked at himself. Same panda, same fur, same smile. But something had changed. He wasn't just waiting for wishes anymore. He understood something deeper. Sometimes, the people who act like they forgot are the ones planning the biggest surprise. And sometimes, the silence before celebration is just part of the performance. Milo adjusted his crown slightly and smiled. Not bad, he said quietly. 1 year older, 1 year wiser, and definitely 1 year more loved.